Wake up, I'm back. I'm here. How you guys doing? Let's finish off the week. How about that? We got an hour to go in the day, and let's get it done and call it a week from whatever we want to call it, from unbelievable run up, down, and everywhere else. Wow, $60.72 on GameStop right now, up $7, $7.19. Kevin, thank you for the PayPal donation. I just hit. Thank you. I'm going to do that every time I get a donation. But if it makes you mad, I won't do it anymore.
It's a little loud in some ears.
Yeah, some folks might find it. I don't want to hear that. I got my headphones on. You're killing me, man. Don't do it. Hey, everybody. I'm back. It's Bruce here, Stock Markets with Bruce. Thank you for hanging around with this guy all week this week and most of the week last week as we try to cover what the heck is going on in the markets in plain English to try to, explain it to you. Some things just can't be explained. But wow, what a week, what a run for the markets, good and or bad, whichever way you want to look at it, it has been insane. The VGAC, the Virgin Group Acquisition Corp, that SPAC that I've been talking about, that is going to become 23andMe. That stock, let me just show you. There we go. This is the VG Acquisition Corp, is run by Richard Branson and his group. They're merging with this company here, 23andMe, and this gal right here is going to become the one person running the whole show. And Wojcicki, I'm pronouncing this wrong. I'm pronouncing it wrong because I can't pronounce the word. Anyway, there you go. But she's going to be running the whole show. That will be a $3.5 billion company when they're together on the New York Exchange. That stock is at $16.11. It's down $1.55, and I'm kind of happy about that because there are a lot of you who follow me who may or may not have heard me talk about this merger yesterday before the market even opened, Thursday morning. I mentioned it at that point, and the stock was about, I think it opened at $14.50, something like that. And I was kind of hoping secretly that I knew it would take a bit of a pop on the news, but I was kind of wondering maybe it might come back a bit and give people a chance to get in here for a 6 months, 1 year kind of thing, or more, whatever you want. But I think you can have a payoff. I think you can enjoy a nice payoff in the first 6 months of this company being merged in and listed. It'll be a $3.5 billion machine corporation with $950 million cash on hand. That'll be well funded, well backed, and I think a lot of momentum will happen, corporate momentum. So at 16.05 or a little lower into that 15s, hey, pick away at it and just buy some and tuck it away. And if it goes to 20 or 25 or 30, nice return. Will it go to 1,000 a share in 2 months? No. But there could be in the first 6 months of this merger, and with the stock being called, it'll be called 23andMe. It'll automatically be converted into it. I think this is going to get a lot of coverage everywhere. The thing I also like about this stock, run by a woman. I like that, and I'll tell you why. Call me a sexist, whatever you want. I smell opportunity. What I'm thinking about is this gal, and she's not like never been in business before and doesn't know what she's doing. She knows very much what she's doing. She's a sharp cookie. I think she's already been rather successful. She's going to do, I think, a good job here. But this stock is going to be covered by many more publications. If it was covered by a man, if it was run by a guy, it wouldn't get as much press as being run by a woman. I'm just telling you the fact. And this gal is going to get exposure in many areas around the world because she is running the show. And that is just the way it is. And it's exciting. It's the future, human genetics and all this stuff. this really is an interesting, I think this is a winner. I really do. You'll make money on this one. You will make money. You're not going to make a couple of bucks a share. You're going to make a lot, but you're going to just stick around a while and pick it up and, nibble at it, and good luck. Grandpa Yeti, what do you think about the lawsuits against VGAC? I'm not worried about them. Every public company out there has lawsuits. Every one of them. There are lawyers all over the place trying to find some reason to sue a public company. They think it's easy money. These public companies, these entities, they all have insurance against exactly this kind of crap. And they have their lawyers, and they defend themselves. And a lawyer will try to go after a company for whatever reason they want to go after them, and it's years and years and years and years and years of litigation that at the end of it, there's nothing to it, or there's a small payout, and it's all handled by insurance. So no, I'm not at all worried. This is not going to stop this deal. There are 952 million reasons why this deal is going to go through. The merger is going to work for both sides, and I think it's going to be a very positive deal when it's all said and done. So I'm not even worried, Grandpa. Not even worried about it. From uncle to grandpa, I'm telling you right now, it's all good. GameStop 61.86 now, up 8.38. The question on everyone's mind is this going to have a run at the end of the day, or is it going to have a dive at the end of the day? This last hour or so, what are we going to witness here? Is 62.27 right now, 62.51. It's up about $9, and it's better than it was this morning. It's better than it was last night in the aftermarket last evening, because it looked like it was going to be in the 40s. And like I said this morning, on the open market today, she started off in the kind of the low 50s, mid 50s, and she went down to 51.09 for the low trade within the first 15 minutes of the day. And that was the only dip off the get-go that took place. And then she ran up and touched 95 after several trading halts with high momentum on the upside. It was halted several times on the way up, got to 95 for a trade or two, but did a lot of trading between 70 and 80, a lot in that neighborhood. And then all afternoon, it's just kind of been slumping along because it's a Friday afternoon and people want to get out and whatever. And we're tired and, what have you. But this last hour, what do we got? Do we have short sellers who are going to try to take a run at this thing all weekend long? A lot of people are going to be talking about what happened today to the stock, what happened Thursday and Wednesday. And there's going to be a lot of, plotting going on with longs and shorts, people who are long the stock, people who are short the stock, who are, who own it, want to get out, who don't own it, want to get in, who want to get back in, maybe average down. Others want to just take a first position, all this kind of stuff. There's a lot of, this is normal. But GameStop has had quite the 2 weeks, obviously. A lot of stress has been, experienced by, winners and losers and everybody in the middle. Welcome to the market. But at GameStop, it has been, amplified, right? So we'll see how it kind of meanders along here. What is going to be the closing momentum today? Where is this thing going to be at? Thank you to Craig. Hey, Bruce, can I shamelessly plug my Twitch account in the super chat, please? Craig by Daylight 666.ttv. There you go. I think you should pay me $14.99 for that. What do you think about VGAC? I think I've talked about this a lot, and watch my reruns, and you'll know. I like it. Do you have an opinion on CCIV Church? I don't have an opinion on it. This is something I'm going to have to look into, and if I have the time to do so, I will take a peek. But I've got a whole lot of things to also clear up this weekend. I got a lot of work. I got some sleep to catch up on. I got to rest my vocal cords this weekend. Yeah, I got stuff to do. I'm a tired guy. I admit to you guys, Uncle Bruce is tired. It's been a long week for Uncle Bruce, but I'm on tonight for another live show with my sponsor members, the backbone of Traveling with Bruce, the absolute core supporters of that channel. My entire YouTube existence is TWB, the backbone of TWB. That's how I kept on here all these years. and I'm going to hang out with those guys at 7 o'clock tonight Eastern time. And you can join me if you like. If you want to hang out with me and my TWB gang, just become a sponsor member of my TWB channel, Traveling with Bruce. You hit the little join button. It's about it's $10 a month or something like that. And you get to join me for 8 live shows a month. And you want to ask me some market questions, you can do so. It's a small, intimate room and some great people there. And but I will be pulling out some trivia questions tonight. I got some trivia questions tonight, man. Oh, we have fun every week with trivia. And I will be pulling out some trivia questions. I got them ready to go here. And if you think you're a hot shot with trivia, you think you know what? You think you know some stuff? Yeah, well, you just come. I dare you. Yeah, I dare you. I double dare you. I double dare you to become a sponsor member of Traveling with Bruce and join me tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time with the gang. And let's have some fun with trivia because it's always a good time. Anyway, there you go. Thank you, all of you, for being here, following me, making donations, large and small and in between. You guys are great. I appreciate it very much. Brent is saying, Bruce, since so much of the volume was shares sold short, is there any mechanism for market makers to have bought back millions of shorts without price increases? Well, a lot of there was a lot of volume. Let's just get to that. There were I don't know, 400, 300 million traded this week. Was it that many? Maybe more. A lot of shares traded hands this week on GameStop, right? Today's volume, 74 million. So yeah, there was at least 200 million for the first 4 days of this week. Lots of trading. So in that trading, between people just buying stock and people just selling stock over and over again or once or whatever, and then the short sellers selling to people who are just buying, short sellers selling to other short buyers who are getting out of positions, short buyers buying from sellers, and short buyers buying from short sellers. Again, you don't know who you're buying from. You don't know their position when you're in the market. You're just putting an order in, hoping to get a good fill, hoping to get the price you want when you buy or when you sell. And you don't know on the other side who it is and how much it is because it goes through your broker connection and into the floor exchange and gets transacted. And then you get a report saying you bought so much, you sold so much, and this is your price. But in all of that, there was a lot of people who took new short positions and those who closed out existing short positions. There's a lot of both of that. And we'll find out by about Tuesday or Wednesday, I think, what the new short position was last week, Friday, the last day of January. We'll keep hearing these S1, S2 reports that come out from wherever they're coming out from to give us a kind of a snapshot picture of some newer short positions. But at the end of the day, I think the short positioning could be as high as 30 million or could be more than that by now. As the shares have, come down to this range, they were lower this morning, but where they are now, 61, 66. It could be that there are 50 million shares shorted again. It could be. I'm not guaranteeing it, but it could be. Of the 70 million that traded today, how many of the 70 million that traded today were shorted versus how many were actually sold by people who had the stock, who legitimately owned it? I don't think people who owned it sold all that much. It might have been quite a bit of shorting going on to just reposition a new position here, thinking that, well, they're going to go back to 30, 35 next week. There's going to be another bloodbath. Again, these professional hedge fund traders, if they're taking that kind of attitude, they're going to happily short 1 million shares down here and put at risk 60 million bucks on a trade, 50 million bucks on a short position. But if they're right and they can buy back their shares at $15 less, they score a $15 million win. Now, we have just come through a 2-week time frame here where a bunch of traders and certainly a number of hedge funds lost billions of dollars on GameStop. They didn't lose just hundreds of thousands of dollars, whatever. It's true. Some hedge funds only lost a few million because they didn't have a big position anyway. Other short traders lost tens of millions, but they had a medium position, but they covered early and they got out, bought back and stood back. And then there were other short short sellers who shorted a long time ago at much, much lower prices before the big run up, and the run up caught them red-handed, and they really got taken to the cleaners, because in no way, shape, or form did the folks at Melvin Capital or elsewhere think that by shorting the stock at 10 or 8 or $14 or $15, that it would go to 100 and then 200 and then 300 and then 400 in a week. No way did they think that. Well, it did. We've talked already. Should it have done that? But it did, and they got taken to the cleaners for billions, and they bought back, and they raised more capital, and they're still in business. And now they will attempt to make this money back, but it might take them a year or two of trading in, getting out, getting in, getting out, getting in. And they may have been shorting at 200 and 150 and 120 and 115 and 90 and 80 and bought back a little and shorted and bought back. And there might be positions out there where there are shorters out there with 5 million shares with an average of 120 a share, possibly. And it's trading at 61 and they're not buying it. That might be exactly what's happening. And on paper, they're sitting on a huge gain, $150 million gain if they were to try to buy it back now. I don't know. Every hedge fund has to decide what they do. There are hedge funds that have been buying this stuff. We certainly have seen an article on that, on a $700 million gain that a hedge fund had made. We're certainly aware that there are hedge funds that buy and sell this, just like you guys buy and sell it as well. I kind of call myself we as part of you, but I don't trade any shares whatsoever. As those of you who watch me, I don't have any long positions or short positions or call contracts. I'm just commenting. So yeah, a lot of speculation here. 61.53 right now is the stock price. It's really flat right now. I don't see an excuse to want to dump it, except I can see short sellers wanting to have it go down to make it look awful, so that over the weekend people torture themselves psychologically, and Monday morning it opens up really crappy. On the other hand, there could be some long players who would like to have upward momentum build up all weekend long, so that Monday morning we start off with a bang, and the stock starts off at 75, 85, 90, and then they're able to start selling stock at 100, 105 if it goes that high and cashing it. But that could all be wishful thinking by all of us. I really wonder if there's going to be much of anything between now and the bell. There will be aftermarket trading today. Just because the market shuts down here in 43 minutes is not the end of the week. There will be 4 more hours of aftermarket trading, but it'll be done by very few participants, and the stock might, gyrate a little bit. But the ending momentum today will be an indicator of just where people are at. On AMC, it had a nice start today. It dropped in the morning and it had a beautiful shot like GameStop did, but it's a piddle down to 672 with a loss of 37 cents right now. It's not lighting up the world at all. And people who love the company, the movie theater chain, who think that with all the moves they've made, the shares could go to $20 or $25. It's not happening. It's a 674. That's where we're at on AMC. So right now, GameStop is up about $8. AMC is down 36 cents, which is about 5-6%. So it's interesting to see the difference there, where one is improving, the other is not. On Bed Bath & Beyond, down 45 cents now to 26.56. It was higher in the morning as well, and it has lost the gains. It was as high as 27.94, now at 26.57. AMC got as high as 8.27 and now sitting at 6.74. Over at BlackBerry, been up all day. All day that stock's been up. It's up $1.04 to 13.19. That's close to its high range. That is a very good run today, but that stock had been lagging everybody the last couple of days. So BlackBerry's on its own. It's up nicely. GameStop is up moderately. We'll take a 15% gain right now in theory, but the day isn't over. We'll see just where ends up. Over at Electronic Arts, the EA people, they came out with their earnings earlier this week, and their shares went from the 150 to 139 range. They're back to 140, 150. They're higher by 293. They're improving again. They're stabilized again. They were not caught up in the hype and the frenzy of short covering and all that sort of stuff. So they're recovering from their jolt that they took the other night. Royal Caribbean, the cruise line, they're up 21 cents to 71.05. They were into the mid 60s earlier this week. Over at Norwegian, they're up a dime, and Carnival, they're up 12 cents. Norwegian's at 24.50 and Carnival at 21.10. I think that the news coming out yesterday from the government of Canada, not allowing cruise ships to sail Canadian waters for another year. That finished Alaska for 2021. No cruises all 2021 to Alaska. No cruises for the year in the Canadian Maritimes. Those New England cruises that would go into Quebec City and Montreal, not gonna do it. Not good. Not happening. To me, I would have thought that the cruise lines would have dropped $10 a share for Royal Caribbean and $3 a share for Norwegian and Carnival. Didn't happen. These shares defy gravity and they defy reality. Unlike GameStop, where yes, there are shopping malls that are not running and there are GameStop stores closed, but GameStop is still in business. They're online and they're doing curbside pickup even from closed stores. There might be an employee inside a closed store that is not open to the public, but the employees in there, maybe two of them, and they're processing orders. They're taking in deliveries when they come in, and they're unpacking, and then they're organizing pickups for sales made online for pickup at the stores. The new Sony PlayStation 5, the Microsoft Xbox, and accessories and everything else. And so, of course, the GameStop people are contacting their buyers saying, we got your console, we got those games you wanted, we got those accessories you want. You can pick them up anytime, Friday or Saturday at curbside. Just give us a call when you're ready, because we'll have someone come out to your car, outside door number, whatever, in the shopping mall, and away you go. It's all been paid for online. They got the money. It's all done. So GameStop is in business in the middle of a pandemic, even though their stores are technically closed, where the cruise lines are out of business and are out of business. They can't they can't make a dime. They can't go sailing anywhere, and they can't go into the port of Miami and dock the ship and just have passengers come on the ship and eat at the restaurants and have a few drinks and then play the slot machines for an hour or two and then leave the ship and go home. The ship can't come into Miami. It's out 10 miles out of the ocean, 20 miles out, treading water between the United States and the Bahamas in the case of the ships that are near the Florida area. So the cruise lines are making no money. And in the case of Royal Caribbean, they are burning $290 a month in cash. In the case of Norwegian, it's about 170 million a month. In the case of Carnival and all the 9 brands that they own Holland America, Princess Cruise Lines, they're burning 650 million a month. So these cruise lines are collectively burning 1.1 billion a month, and I can guarantee you they're going to continue to burn 1.1 billion a month from their balance sheets all spring, all summer, all fall until late this year, and maybe they each can get 1 or 2 ships going by the end of the year for Caribbean cruises, 3-day, 2-day, 4-day cruises. That's all. It'll take till 2022 before the cruise lines have any hope of ramping up again, because they need us to be vaccinated. And they don't need just us to be vaccinated. It's not like North Americans will solve all their problems. They need all the Europeans, they need the South Americans, and they need the people who live in the Caribbean to be vaccinated, because you got a ship with 4,000 passengers coming into the Bahamas. They better be vaccinated in the Bahamas, because those folks are coming off the ship for tours, beach getaway. Yeah, this is an international problem of gargantuan proportions for the cruise lines that they never thought they would ever have to deal with. And the shareholders of Royal Caribbean and Norwegian and the Carnival Cruise Line, for whatever reason, all the people who are buying and selling shares of those 3 publicly traded companies do not get it. They just do not comprehend the carnage that they're investing in right now. They're just oblivious that, oh yeah, well, the cruise line's going to start sailing in a couple of months, and it's all going to be great. Shangri-La, it's going to be happy times. We're going to sing Kumbaya around the slot machines in the casino on board a cruise ship. It's just going to be fantastic. How on earth will the cruise lines even get their passengers? Forget their passengers. How will the cruise lines even get their crews, the crews that they have, to their ships? Some of the big ships that Royal Caribbean has, 2,200 crew on the Oasis of the Seas, the Harmony of the Seas, the Symphony of the Seas, the Allure of the Seas. The biggest cruise ships in the world have 2,200 crew each ship, and they need 25 transport truckloads of supplies for every 1 week cruise in Miami or Fort Lauderdale or Port Canaveral. And you have to have all those folks cleared coming out of the port now. They have to be vaccinated. All the people who supply those warehouses that you fill the trucks at, they all have to be vaccinated. I mean, and then they get the crews. How do you get the crews onto a cruise ship if you're forbidden to fly them into the country in the first place? You can't fly them in the U.S. How are you going to get 11,000 people onto those 5 mega ships? You got to sail them on. You got to send a ship or 2 or 3 to the Philippines, Indonesia, to India, to wherever the crews come from, pick them up, sail them across the Pacific or the Atlantic to the Bahamas area, and then transfer them between ships through the lifeboat system. Between you through 200 get on this ship, and this lifeboat, you're going to that ship half a mile over there. You 200 people get on this lifeboat, you're going to that ship over there. Lifeboats are coming in, picking up people, taking them back. It takes days, and then you have to clear all those people through the United States Homeland Security and Customs Department that they are fit to be on the ship inside the port of America, and then to be able to deal with the public. They all have to have vaccinated. They'll have to be quarantined. They have to be tested. The costs for the cruise lines are unbearable just to get their crews onto their ships to be allowed to allow passengers to come onto the ship to start sailing. And the stocks, they're way too high. And I haven't even told you about how much money they borrowed to stay alive, because you burn $1.1 billion a month. They only had collectively between the 3 of them, I bet you they had $1 billion in the bank total at the beginning of this whole thing last March. This is going to be a year and 3 quarters, $20+ billion, $25 billion just evaporating into payments, legals, fuel, food for the crew, the cost of getting the crew home in the first place, all the cancellation fees, all the refunds, all of the head offices that they had run and their staffs, the layoffs, the furloughs, the IT systems to keep reservations going, to keep the company alive, their listing fees they still have, their banking fees. It's just a nightmare. And they're not getting loans at 2% or 3%. Oh gosh, no. They're paying much more in interest than that. They're paying anywhere from 6 to 15% interest right now on all that money they're borrowing, and they're going to need more. And that means when they start sailing, even at full capacity in sometime 2023, 2022, they will never make the kind of money they made in 2019, because they have fewer ships now. They've been scrapping the old ones, dumping them off, selling them, scrapping them. They're coming back at about 80% of their size. They can't possibly bring in as much money because they only have 80% of the beds, fewer hotels, floating hotels. The casinos will operate, but there'll be social distancing on board. I'm sure there'll be restrictions. They might be down to 50% occupancy, maybe 60% occupancy. They might only be allowed to sell out their cabins that have balconies, no inside rooms because of airflow and quarantine issues. You don't want to have people stuck on a ship for 2 weeks in an inside room. Party of 4 can't come out of the room for 2 weeks. That's a jail cell. You got to be kidding me. No windows, no way. So they might be down to a very small capacity, and they'll be lucky to break even in 2022. 2023, if they make money, might be a third of what they made in 2019, and they're sailing full bore. It is going to be really bad. And that's when the finances will finally be looked at by analysts who will go, oh, geez, Royal Caribbean, they were $135 a share 2 years ago in 2019. And now in 2023, they're sailing with all the ships they've got left, and they've got a couple new ones coming. But their expenses and their interest charges and their reduced capacities, this stock is a $45 stock. Even making a couple bucks a share. I mean, they're not going to make the money. How are they going to make that kind of money again? They not for a while. And so, Royal Caribbean, you want to buy it right now? 71.17. Help yourself. Buy all you want at 71. I don't think so. Not this guy. And I'm not an official Wall Street analyst, but I know the cruise business. And Norwegian at 24.60 and Carnival at 21. Are you kidding me? No way. They're all three of them should be trading at half what they're trading at right now, and should stay there. But hey, I say to Royal Caribbean, way to go, you guys. You got buyers who want to buy your stock at 71 bucks. Keep up the magic, but do me a favor, call your Wall Street brokers and sell stock into the market. Do stock offers. They've been doing it. I credit these guys. They have raised money by selling stock. They've increased their float by a ton. Keep doing it. Just keep issuing stock every month or two. Bring in another $1 billion. Bring in another $1 billion. As long as they're going to give it to you, take the money because they're burning $1 billion in 4 months. It takes only 100 to 110 days to burn off $1 billion at Royal Caribbean. That's all it takes. And they're going to be doing that for a number of hundreds of days. This is going to go forward for a while. Anyway, that's the cruise story right there. The Dow is up 63 points, S&P up 11, and NASDAQ up 52. And our friends over here at GameStop are sitting at 61.62, up 8.12 a share. The shares are just, just hanging around the low 60s right now. We've got 29 minutes to go. The Virgin Group acquisition SPAC 1591. I'm kind of glad to see it under 16 bucks. Again, I'm thinking longer term for that issue right there, but I think you'll do well. I'm thinking longer term for GameStop as well. As I have always tried to say, GameStop is a corporate story that is in evolution and evolving into an full-blown e-commerce retail company. They're in the middle of all that, but they're also in the middle of a pandemic, and they're also in the middle of each month the leases expire on more stores, and they will just reduce their store counts, reducing lease obligations, business tax obligations for each store. I don't know if any of you are retailers out there, but if you are a retailer that owns a 1,500 square foot store, you run a 1,500 square foot store in a high traffic shopping mall, you name the state in America, you name the city in Canada, you tell me, your business taxes could be astronomical depending on where you are. And then there's your business insurance costs. There's your theft issues because you're in a mall. You're dealing with people that come and go and will slip a game into their coat and try to walk out with it. You've got the shrinkage issue. You've got employees that need to be trained all the time because they come and they go. You run a small little retail business. You got to work your tail off to make money. And in the case of GameStop, they're going to get rid of all that headache, and they're going to replace their business by just working out of gigantic warehouses, having stock brought in to by transport trucks, just like Amazon. They're going to be a high volume delivery system at select warehouse locations around the world with their procurement people, and they're going to become experts at shipping this product. The good news about shipping a game is it's light. These games are on a disc. They don't weigh a lot, and they're durable. They can take a pounding in the mail. The consoles are designed to take a beating because they're packed by Microsoft's people, Sony's people with the padding and everything else, and they can handle going through a FedEx system or whatever system they want to use, UPS, to get to the final customer. They don't have to unpack and then sell an item one at a time at each of these 5,000 plus stores. They're just going to bring massive cartons of these items into their warehouses, and then they'll just put them into their units, these massive short storage shelves that they have, and then they just pick away and ship them out. It's cheaper to sell a console and some games and accessories from a warehouse than it is to ship it to 5,000 retail stores around the world and deal with mall issues, local politics, state taxes, state and local taxes, county taxes, business taxes, and everything else. You don't have that anymore. You're just working out of your warehouse in break. Remember, they're headquartered in Texas. Texas is very business friendly. And for this company to have a gigantic series of warehouses in Texas, that is where you want to operate from to avoid massive state and local taxes, because Texas is an open for business state that is has a very low tax rate, and they are favoring business every way to Sunday to come on over. So they're getting out of the high tax areas like New York and Pennsylvania and others where the taxation is extremely high. They're out of Texas, and they're going to be doing their online orders for Americans from there. And Canada, it's Mississauga, Ontario, and then there's Australian warehouses, then there'll be warehouses in Europe, and then they'll diversify from there, selling products globally. So that's the future of GameStop, and we'll see what comes of it. Anyway, there you have it. That's the latest here. We're up 85 on the Dow, S&P up 14, NASDAQ up 66. We have 2,800 of you watching me right now live. Thank you for being here with me. We have 553 thumbs ups. Please consider throwing a thumbs up this way to Uncle Bruce to keep me pumped up. All these thumbs ups that you give me will help YouTube promote this channel all through the weekend, 24/7. Around the world. I am not looking for viewers just from the US or Canada. We have got a global audience, and the more YouTube is exposing this channel to its world, which is global, we will have stock followers from around the planet catching up and going, what's this guy talking about? Oh, he talks in the market in plain English. I can understand what this guy's saying. I get it now. He answers people's questions too. Hey, I should follow this guy, and they'll start following GameStop and Virgin Group Acquisition Corp and the other companies I talk about and whatever else I come up with. So the more the merrier. Thank you. We're at 747 thumbs ups there. Coming in, guys. You guys are awesome. Thank you for throwing me a thumbs ups while you're here. That is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for the donations too, guys. Thank you for that. People are saying thoughts on Sony. I heard and read and reported a couple of days ago that Sony was having problems with their inventory. The good kind, though, that they were having problems getting inventory in. They've sold 4.5 million PlayStation 5s already, 4.5 million since the December range, and that they're way ahead of forecasts, and they had to revise their profit up for the corporation as a whole. Their game systems are not going out at discounts. They're going out at full price, and they're going out the door at GameStop at full price too. Same with the Microsoft systems. And I know that Microsoft and GameStop have made an arrangement. They've got an alliance here. Financing has been kind of coordinated for people to buy games and consoles through GameStop, through Microsoft as a financing arrangement. And there's royalties coming to GameStop for all sales of the Xboxes and other things. Those details are quiet. They're secret, industry sourced news. But there is stuff going on behind the scenes that's convincing me that GameStop is really getting into the e-commerce side of the thing here. Dylan, I bought 5 shares of Virgin Group to go with my 4 shares of GameStop and 10 shares of AMC. Wish me luck, buddy. Hey, man, it's a start, and welcome to the markets. And you know what? Where these shares go, you're watching it. You're going to learn a lot about the highs and the lows, the ups and downs, the momentum of the day, the momentum of a market. And you're becoming more and more knowledgeable as each day goes by. And hey, consider it a tuition. Like into college, you're learning a whole new college course called the markets. And every day you put into it, you'll become that much wiser and you'll learn more. David, why does GameStop board not call for an EGM Force back share? EGM Force back share. I don't know what that means. Does anyone know what that means? What's your ideal entry price for jelly bagels? Well, I tell you, you gotta have jelly bagels sometimes. You need the energy, man. You gotta have the energy. You cannot be underfunded when it comes to vitamins and proteins and sugars, and especially when you're a live YouTuber talking to hungry viewers that want info on what's going on. You better be ready or you're in big trouble. GameStop slumping a bit, or is it not? 61.23, 61.48. It's just kind of jumping around a bit here. Thank you, everybody. All the cream I bought into Sony 2 days ago when Brian Chung informed me they bought Church Roll, I literally only bought into them for that. Let's see here. Here we go. MH is saying, hey, just stop with the conspiracy theories, man. You were late to the pump. This is still more to drop. Come on, Bruce. We hate you. Oh, we love you. Oh, thank you very much, Megan. Thank you so much. A corner says, it's sad that people think the truth must be bots. What are you going to do? What's that, says John. Watching you from the UK, my man. Where are you watching me from, you guys? Talk to me. Tell me, where are you watching me from around the world? I want to know, what countries are you in? What cities are you in? Fire away and tell me, where are you guys watching me from right now? I would love to know. Bruce, I've been checking your channel out recently. You have been consistently displaying integrity and trustworthiness. I hope your channel will continue to grow exponentially. Congratulations. Nick, thank you very much for that comment. I appreciate it, but you've just triggered something in my brain that I want to tell you guys, that I want you to be aware of. About 5 days ago, one of my viewers sent me an email, a private email, said, hey man, I think you've got an imposter out there. There's some guy out there who's created a channel called Stock Markets with Bruce. He has no subscribers, he has no videos, but he's using your picture and he's using your name and he's posting comments on your videos after you go live. The people can comment after hours. He's posting comments, replying to people, pretending to be you, and he's adding a phone number and he wants people to call the number and he's promoting some crypto stuff. I have been aware of this. I have been in touch with YouTube about it. We've reported him. YouTube is hopefully going to eliminate this individual from existence. I don't know. I just spent about half an hour with Jennifer going through all the comments that were made up until about an hour ago to double check. And sure enough, we found hundreds of comments that have been sent to you folks out there who's sending me comments after my shows are aired. And in some cases, he's sending 3 comments per comment that you've made. And I want you to understand out there, he's fake. I don't know. He's up to no good, obviously. Someone told me that they called the number just to find out what he wanted to do. And he's trying to get all kinds of banking info, credit card info. He wants to get anything he can. If you call him, he's got your phone number. You do not want to phone that number. You do not want to contact this person. You do not want to touch this individual with a 10-foot cattle prod. I don't know who it is, where they are, whether they're part of a bot thing out of somewhere, in Europe, somewhere in China. I have no idea. And so avoid. I will never, ever post a comment on my show, on after one of my shows, where I actually add a phone number. That would never happen. Never. Again, I would never want information from any of you through that kind of a system. That is ridiculous. What do I need that for? It's crazy. So again, thank you for tolerating that. We're working to eliminate this person. We're doing the best we can, and hopefully we will be successful sooner rather than later. But again, we're in the middle of a pandemic, and even at YouTube, they're not sitting in their cubicles like they usually sit in their cubicles. They're working from home, and things are slower. And so we're battling that. And I just wanted to make you all aware that is going on. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Mike, thank you. Bruce is awesome. I love Bruce Moore. Virginia, watching from Virginia. Norway, I'm watching from Norway. Fantastic. Let's see if I get any more comments here. I can't keep up with them all over the place. New Zealand, hello from Edmonton. What's the best thing about Creston? One of the things is the views, the clean air, and right now the weather. We are about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. It's melting like crazy around here, and only a few hours to the east of us in Calgary, it is 0 Fahrenheit, and it's snowing like a blizzard. It's not pretty. James from Aberdeen, Scotland, welcome. Jay Hubbs from Niagara Falls. Winnie, welcome from Hong Kong. Who else? Where else are these folks coming from? This is beautiful. Hi, Uncle Bruce, watching from beautiful Donegal, Ireland. Loving the show and the family. Beautiful, guys. Niagara Falls is where they are. Hargeisa, Somaliland. Go Chiefs. Looks like the imposter's gone. Let's hope so. Just ordered a hit on that guy. What's the action for AMZ? We don't know. We'll watch it. Wonderful Copenhagen. We're located in UD, wherever that is. Fantastic, guys. Watching from around the world. Catching up with Bruce here. Stock markets with Bruce. We got someone here from Brooklyn. Great people in Brooklyn, man. Beautiful. Slovenia, of course. Have Jen hit that guy. Jen's a hitter. She catches that guy. She'll nail that guy. She'll send some of her Steelers after this guy. I'll take care of that guy. 61.88 on GameStop, up 8.38. There you go. What a douchebag. That's right. That's what he is. Rotterdam, the Netherlands. Thank you, everybody. You rock, man. Listening to you from live for the past week from Ocean Beach, San Diego, baby. Thank you, everybody, for catching up. There's the Brooklyn connection. Love New York. Love Brooklyn, Queens. London, England here, right on Silent Shooters. Beautiful. Colorado, beautiful. And who else have we got here? Megan, I'm in Ohio. Come on and chill. Beautiful, guys. This is fantastic. Austria. They're from everywhere. It's just incredible. Thank you, everybody. What do you think about the similarity charts? I don't think anything about the similarity charts. I can't figure it out. 879 likes, but the subs are still under 50,000. There's $100 for every sub under 50,000, 100 for every sub over 50,000. My spread bet. Let's take a look here. Live on my channel right now, we have 933 thumbs up. So we're this close to 1,000 thumbs ups. Come on, guys. Throw me some thumbs ups and let's break that number. 949 now, 963 now. Let's hit 1,000 and then go for 2,000. There are a bunch of you here today. 2,700. We shouldn't have just 997 thumbs up. There's 1,000 now. Broke 1,000. Thank you, everybody on the channel. As far as subscribers, we broke 49,000 this morning, and we're now at 49,337. 337. We now need. What do we need now? 673 subscribers to break 50,000 subscribers for Stock Markets with Bruce. Man, would that be a sweet hit today. Thank you, all of you. If you're considering becoming a subscriber to this channel, hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell notification icon to get alerted every time I do a new video. 1,200 hits on the thumbs ups, you guys. Thank you very much. You're awesome. I love you guys for this. It is a beautiful momentum for the channel. Absolutely. Let's see here. A couple more folks popping through. A couple of comments coming in. Donations. We've got AB. Last I heard, Ohio is the only state with a Timmy's. I thought there were more. A New York State. I thought Maine and a few other. But I could be wrong. I love to see Timmy Hortons everywhere. I was sure there's in Manhattan there are Tim Hortons. I thought so. Read alouds. Could GameStop call an emergency shareholder vote to save GameStop from bankruptcy, calling shares back to their owners, eliminating synthetic stock, taking leverage away from fraudulent short selling? No, that it doesn't work like that. It never works like that. You don't call a shareholder meeting to avoid bankruptcy. That doesn't work. What you would do is you would call a shareholder meeting once a year for the annual report and the election of new directors to whatever slate of directors are being proposed. You will approve the financials that you accept them, and then you will then have the company make announcements about various corporate details. You might call a shareholder vote if there's a merger or a takeover. Shareholders will be consulted. You have to vote for an approval of whether you would be accepting a takeover offer from whatever it is. By the way, we're 63.95. We're approaching 64 right now, a little better. But for this kind of purpose, no, you wouldn't do that. The directors of the company are in touch with their transfer agencies that handle all their share situations. They're fully aware of where their securities situation stands. They know the short positions out there. They know how many shares trade all the time. They get reports from the New York Stock Exchange. They are listed on the New York Stock Exchange, so they're privy to all that info. They have shareholder lists of registered shareholders, again, through their transfer agent. They have investor relations people whose job it is to bring out news releases to the public like they did earlier this week. It wouldn't surprise me from time to time that the investor relations people at GameStop are watching my channel and everyone else's channel and looking at all the vlogs and reading all the articles, and they're, wherever GameStop is being talked about, they're watching what is being said about them. They are fully aware. If they're not a true public company, but they are. They've been a public company for a long time, and they know the ins and outs of the market. They know the highs and the lows and the good days and the bad days. $64.50 now on the stock, up $12. $65.50 just popped the dollar. We've got a little run coming at the end. Instead of a sell-off, we might have a little pop-up. That's nice, $65. See how it goes. Nothing on CNBC about this. I didn't think so. But we're happy to see $65.66, $65.70 now on the company. So they follow all of their events. They know exactly how they're doing as a public company, and they're aware of it. They know that this channel is probably existing by now, and they're probably once in a while watching what I say and how I say it. Daniel, there are a lot of Cunard, Carnival, and Holland America Line ships sat in the bay here in Devon, UK, with nowhere to go. Yeah, they're sitting in the UK, sitting just off the coast of Singapore, bunches of them. There's a bunch of ships in between the Bahamas and the U.S. There are ships off the coast of L.A. All those ships that were going to do Alaska cruising starting April and May this year, they're no longer, their schedules are gone. The schedules for at least 40 cruise ships that had Seattle, Vancouver, Victoria, Ketchikan, Skagway, Anchorage, Juneau, all those are gone right from April to September, October. Those ships now, where are they going? Where are they going to sail? The cruise lines are going, what are we going to do with these ships for 6 months? Well, the reality is they're going to do exactly what all the other ships are going to be doing for the cruise lines. Nothing. They're not going anywhere with anybody until very late this year at the earliest. Maybe a couple of cruises, but likely 2022. I keep thinking it's 2021, 2022. $64.50 on GameStop. I'm showing over here $65.36 over here. Stock's up $11. So yeah, cruise lines are definitely really up against it right now. Not good. All right. Again, thank you, those of you who are here. Please only speak English on this chat. Because I don't understand any of these other languages, and I have no idea whether there are, some nasty comments being posted or not. I can't have that. It's got to be in English only, please. And of course, anyone who's abusing the system, we will have to let them go. There are 71 million shares of GameStop, but have there ever been issued? There are 71 million shares of GameStop that have ever been issued by the company. Institutions have reported to the SEC via 13F filings they own more than 102 million shares. Yes, they do, because they own shares that the shorters have sold them. Yes, that's how they have 102 million. There are institutions that own 102 million shares that file to the SEC. There's only 71 million in existence. There's a difference of 31 million. There's a short interest right there. Those are shares that have been sold that have to be bought back. When they get bought back, they have to be bought back from these guys that hold the stock, or you out there as a retail investor that holds the stock. You have to give up the shares for these shorters to get all their positions done. But a lot of the shorting is rotating all the time. There are more shares shorted than the 30 million. I am pretty sure of that. And those are being held by a lot of you retail investors. You've got stock you bought from a shorter. It makes no difference to you in your life. Don't worry about it. You're not in trouble. You don't ever have a problem. You're long stock, period. The shorters are the ones taking all the risks. When they sell stock they don't have, and they have to buy it back eventually, sometimes the stock can go up in price quite crazily, like we witnessed last week. And they just reposition themselves all over again and dare people to do it to them again. And this is where we're at right now. $64 on GameStop, $64.40, up $10.60 a share. We've got 6 minutes to go in the day. As we're coming into the end, the Dow is up 61, S&P up 11, NASDAQ up 61. The Virgin Group stock is at 1606. It was just under 16 for a little bit of time late today, but it came back up again. The low of the day for that stock was 15.60. It has not backed off a lot, but it is down $1.57. So hey, if it drops 150 on Monday, you can pick it off at $14.50 to $15. I'd be stepping in there. GameStop 62.62 down is up now 960, 63.01, as we are a little better, but not a lot better than we were all afternoon when we were kind of in that 59 to 61, 62 neighborhood. We've been kind of sitting around there, 63.02 right now. It doesn't look like a major big run coming on the stock that I can see, but I could be mistaken. We'll follow it, see what's going on. Thank you to Dave. Opinion on ornamental gourd futures. Should I buy ornamental gourds or not? That's a personal decision. I can't go into personal lives like that. Personal taste thing, But thanks for the donation. Marcos Garcia, Houston, Texas here. Question, couldn't all the shareholders request an emergency shareholder meeting or request a reverse stock split? No, the shareholders cannot request an annual meeting. The company's fate and management is in the hands of the board of directors, which in turn have hired a CEO and a CFO and all their top officers to run the minute-to-minute, second-to-second affairs, report to the board, then the board reports to the shareholders. That's the structure. The shareholders, you could do a campaign, some kind of a write-in campaign, but don't waste your time. It's not going to work. They're not going to do any kind of splits. They're not going to do a reverse split. They're not going to do a forward split that I can see, although I would love it if they did. If they were to do a 5-for-1 split and say that for every share you have now, you've got 5 shares of GameStop, and the shares were trading at $12.50 a share, everyone has 5 times as many. So the shorters are short 5 times as many, but now to run it from $12 to $20 would be might be easier because small investors will go, hey, I can buy 100 shares for $1,200. Whereas yesterday it took me $6,000 to buy 100 shares. Of course, you're not buying 100, you're buying 20. It's all relative, but true, the amplification would be greater, but no, at 63, they're not going to do a split. I don't think so. If they were to do a special cash dividend, I would laugh my tail off. If they were to issue even if they went to a banker and borrowed $350 million to do a $5 cash dividend, special cash dividend to all shareholders would get the cash dividend. Well, those shareholders, the first 70 million get their shares, the money from the company. The other 30-40 million shareholders, they have to get their money from the short sellers, because now the short sellers owe everybody $5 a share for every share they're short. Oh, that'll change a lot of minds about being short that stock. They want to get out. That could run the market up quite a ways. That'd be kind of fun. I don't think that's going to happen, but I'd love to scheme stuff like that. What can I say? That would be, that'd be cool to watch. Options are also expiring here very shortly for the day, by the way. So keep that in mind. We're at 64.23. This is Options Friday. We have 2 minutes left to go or less. 324 now, 324 to go. The stock is $64, up 10.49. KK, thank you. Hey, Bruce, with all this free money in the market, how would you time the correction? Yeah, I don't see a correction coming like anything serious. There's not one on my horizon right now. Way too much cash. A company like AT&T or JP Morgan or Microsoft or any dividend paying company, they're paying a dividend and they're paying out a 3% equivalent yield. So you buy a $60 stock and you're going to get $1.80 a year in dividends, maybe 45 cents every 3 months. They're paying you a 3% interest rate or dividend yield. That's better than you're getting from a banker. You can't get a T-bill to pay you that. 10-year treasury note, you're getting 1% from the U.S. government. Yeah, that's all they're going to give you. So people and institutions are buying stock for the 3% yield or 3.5 or 4, or whatever they can find. This cheap money makes stocks stay high. That's what it does. 16. on GameStop as we are coming into the last 2 minutes, 12 seconds of the day. GameStop at 63.50 or so. Had a little bump at the end, and it's not doing much. It's not going to be a bloodbath at the end from what I can see, but it's not going to $100 at the end of the day either. 64 right now on the stock here as it's coming to the close. I think we're just about there. We're very close. 64, 1 minute, 44 seconds as we're coming into the final bell here, and we'll see what's going on. Dark Camper, GameStop will be trading at 50% current value by the end of next week. That's what he thinks. Mark my words, Bruce. Mark my words. We are done. We're closed. The final trade, 63.76, a gain of $10.26 for GameStop today. 79,500,000 traded, 80 million practically. Aftermarket, 62.99 on the first initial trade. We're done for trading on the day, 63.76. Thank you, JJ. That's what we got right now. And now we will see what the aftermarket does, and if the company makes a press release between now and Monday morning. Is there any more new corporate news to talk about? Financials will be coming later. Not Monday, but we'll find out when the financials come out for their year end. We'll see how things go. What kind of corporate news have they got? And in the meantime, everybody else, we closed in the Dow at 92, up 92. S&P up 15. Nasdaq up 78. Virgin Group AC closed at 1602 on the market. On the day, it's trading at 1605 aftermarket right now, and our friends at AMC closed at 683, down 26 cents. That's where they are in the aftermarket. Bed Bath & Beyond lost 47 cents on the day. It had been up almost $2, 26.54. Our friends over at BlackBerry had a good day today. Closed up $1.08, $1.08 a share to 13.22. $1.08 doesn't sound like a lot, but when you go from 12.14 to 13.22, that's a nice percentage gain for the folks over at BlackBerry. Yeah, BlackBerry now gained today. See if I can get this to work. 8.8% on the day. GameStop added 19% value today to its share price officially from yesterday's closing price. James, as a young investor trying to build a diverse starter portfolio, do you have any recommendations in general or specifically? Yes, I do. Stand by. Virgin lost 9%. AMC lost 3.6%. Bed Bath & Beyond lost 1.74%. Electronic Arts gained 1.7%. Royal Caribbean gained 1%. Norwegian gained 1.39%. And Carnival 1.28%. They defy logic. The Dow gained 0.3 of 1%, 92 points. It is not at an all-time record. The Dow all-time record is 31,272. It's at 31,148. So it's close, but no cigar. It did not hit a new high today. It was within approximately 20 points today in the opening to reach a new all-time high for the Dow. It was close, but it didn't make it. But we'll see Monday morning how the sentiment is working out. In the middle of a pandemic, the markets are hitting all-time high trades or values, which is quite interesting when so many mom and pop shops are shut down and can't even open. It's quite amazing how this runs. But it's the top 30 companies. I'm amazed that Disney trades where it does. I can't believe it. Disney's losing money and their stock is doing really well. I think they're going to be shut down for a lot longer than people think. But again, just defying logic just blows my mind. What can I say? Maybe I'm just too old and I don't get it. I'm just not hip to the scene, or that's 70s, that's 60s talk, hip to the scene. I'm not dope with it. I'm not dope. Is that it? I'm not very dope on that stuff. Yo, bruh, I'm not dope. Okay. Oh man, the old man's just trying to, I'm just punch drunk. It's been a long week this week and we've covered a lot of carnage this week and everything else. I hope you guys are going to have a great weekend and get a nice bit of rest out there. Relax, blow off some steam if you can. Although we got the Super Bowl coming up, so let's watch that together. 1,400 thumbs ups. Thank you everybody for that. Any more you can throw me, that would be just tremendous. I would appreciate it. We're at 49,000. How many subscribers we got now? 49,467. 533 away from 50,000 subscribers. Man, that is awesome stuff. Thank you guys so much for following me and being around. I love it. Let's see here. Thank you again for those of you who've been reaching out to me with my private email. The link is down below. Appreciate some of you reaching out to me with some ideas. I love that. And again, 1,500 thumbs ups and counting. They're still coming in. Thank you guys. Thank you for all these donations this week. The postcards are in the mail. All those postcards, they're coming, baby. Game Stonk postcards. Thank you, all of you, for making donations all this week to get those postcards. And then just making donations to me because you like me. You really like me. Thank you. AB, Disney has a lot in Asia. Pandemic handled better there. That's true. CRB, how do you feel about 3-time inverse funds? Yes, I'm not sure about that. There are funds where you can trade. You can buy 3 times inverse funds where the indexes go down and it'll be amplified by 3 as far as movement goes and price, or it'll be amplified up. It'll be down in 3 times or up 3 times. Like there are what we call short funds and long funds, index funds. They're short the market or they're long the market. And there are 1-to-1, 2-to-1, 3-to-1. So if the Dow goes Dow or the Nasdaq goes up a percentage point, the funds can go up 2 or 3 percentage points because they've got an amplification network in there. They've just leveraged them up. But if the market goes down a percentage point, they're leveraged the other direction 1, 2, or 3 times. I'm fascinated that they exist. I'm blown away that they exist. I do not know if people make millions of dollars on them or not. That's the thing I don't know, because short funds have to cover dividends, and that takes away from their performance. Markets are, of course, right now at all-time highs. So the shorters, if you're short the big funds, you're short at the highs. But are these the highs of highs, or do we have another year or 2 of this? We'll follow it out. A lot of people thought that if Biden was going to get elected, the markets would take to a tank. Hasn't happened. We're about to hit new highs. That's not going to happen. So let's see what gives up there. Okay. Anyway, it is what it is, and we'll see what's going on. Yeah, that's the deal. Thank you everybody for following me and being here. 63.96 on that last trade for GameStop. Let's see where it is right now after market. 64.10, up 34 cents from the close. So a tad better, not too much to get excited about there. And we'll see what the headlines are over the weekend and follow those. And then Monday morning, we'll see what's happening on Monday morning with the markets. And I'll be on the air at least an hour before the opening. Try to keep you folks posted on the latest market developments and try to explain to you in a plain English format, hopefully. Hopefully you'll like that. You'll enjoy that. Again, thank you everybody for all of your comments this week and your participation in my live shows and of course donations and becoming subscribers. Absolutely beautiful. Loving it. Just loving it. Taking another peek here. The channel, yep, 49,455. The sub counts are running. And thank you again for the thumbs ups today, 1,500. And again, all of your comments. GameStop, 64.57 now in the aftermarket, up a little bit on the deal. And really no news. There will be a lot of articles you're going to see over the weekend. The so-called carnage articles. That's what you're going to read now, the carnage. First, last week they told you how high the shares and they didn't deserve to be there. And now this week they're going to tell you how low they are and they still have a long way to go. So get ready for that kind of reporting. It'll be 1 in 10. I bet you of every 10 articles you find on GameStop, maybe 1 might talk about the future of the company and what they're trying to do. Because most of them are just going to be just throwing salt into the wounds of investors to say, we told you so. You idiots. You shouldn't have bought it at $380. And there you go. All right. Like everybody did. That's not true. Risa, what's your opinion on OTC, the over-the-counter stocks? Recently bought HITIF, and it's been treating me very well. I do not participate, and I will never participate in over-the-counter stocks. I'm sorry. I'm glad you're doing well, and more power to you. But over-the-counter stocks are the kind of companies that are so small in capitalization that they don't qualify to list on a bona fide stock exchange, and so they trade on an over-the-counter system with computer trading only, where market makers make the markets wherever they're at, and you are in the wild west. And it is, if you're ever being pursued by junk email, perhaps phone calls from people you don't know to want to talk to you about investing, you could possibly be being chased down by people representing over-the-counter stocks. And there are bona fide companies trading on over-the-counter, but my take on it is there are thousands of shares to choose from at all kinds of prices per share in all kinds of businesses that are traded on the boards, on the actual exchanges, and they have to. There are all kinds of rules and regulations there as to who and how these shares are handled, and I would avoid OTC stocks myself. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not poo-pooing the entire business. It just is my take on it. I would not be in the over-the-counter game at all. Don't forget James's question. People want answers. James wants answers. James, what's your answer? Where's your answer? Where's your question, buddy? Hold the line for James. James asked $5 as a young investor trying to build a diverse starter portfolio. Oh, okay, James. Okay. James, I'm not letting you hang anymore. Buddy, thank you for being here. If you want to become an investor at a young age, it used to be that you had to do this with your parents' approval and guidance, and it wasn't uncommon where, in my case, I as a stockbroker would have a father come to me, a client come to me, and say, "Hey, listen, my young guy is 13 years old, 14 years old. He wants to invest with his allowance in the market," and I would open up an account for the child in trust from the parent. The parent would open an account in trust for the child, and all the orders to buy and sell, Dad would phone them in. So he'd call me up and say, the kid wants to pick up 100 shares of this or sell that. And the father might fund the account with a little bit of stock, and then the child, and Dad will bond together, figuring out what to do. And from time to time, I would get an order, and I would, as a courtesy to a very good client, do that. Those are the days in the 80s. Today, you can open an account with parental guidance on Robinhood, Fidelity, Charles Schwab, wherever you want, with these online platform accounts, and they'll open an account if you put in $50. I mean, they'll start with virtually nothing. And so if you've got $100 saved up and you're going to save $10 a month or whatever, you're going to put it in there, electronically transfer, you can do that. Now, depending on the platform, the entity that you're using, you may be allowed to make investments in certain stocks and ETFs for as little as $5 a trade. But in other instances, you might be allowed to buy as little as $1 a trade. And so you've got a micro account that you can now run as a little ETF. You might have 15 different companies that's $100 worth of value, $100. You got it into 15 companies, and you're watching all 15 all the time, following their annual reports, their quarterly reports, their news releases, their developments, and you're buying and selling more or shifting between one and the other. You're learning how to handle a portfolio at a young age with not a lot of money. You can do that on these platform trading entities. And if mom and dad are involved with the youngster to learn together, that is a wonderful way to bond with your kids. And I highly recommend it. Now, what should you buy and when? Well, what do you know? What is it you know about at whatever age you are? James, If you know all about GameStop because you're listening to me, and you know about GameStop because you're a customer, well, you can buy, $1 worth of GameStop, $5 worth of GameStop, depending on the platform. Pick the price whenever you want to go in. Or you can put all your money into one stock if that's what you want to do. But if I were you and you're new and you want to be around a while, I would recommend you have at least 5 different investments that you're going to make. And it might be that you take your dough and divide it into 5 equal pieces and figure out, I got $100, that's $20 per investment. And then you pick your 5 favorite companies. And maybe it's a little, some of the FANG stocks you might buy. Maybe you'll buy GameStop or not. Maybe you'll buy this Virgin VGAC I've talked about. You might buy 20 of that, 20 GameStop, 20 Apple, 20 Facebook, 20 Alphabet, or $20 worth of Netflix, or what is it that you like to follow? Are you a fan of a certain beverage? Do you like Coca-Cola over Pepsi? You might buy Coca-Cola shares. You're into cars? Buy Tesla shares. You're into where do you live and what you exposed to in your life, or you're interested in the COVID-19 vaccine producers. You might want to buy their shares. You got homework to do, and it's good homework. It's the good kind of homework to learn about the economy as a whole and the markets as a whole. And as time goes by, depending how young you are, you will find friends of yours, some who don't give a darn about the market. They are not interested. It's boring. And others who are very interested, and you're going to start hanging out with your peeps, whether online or in physical format. And eventually you might become part of a trading group or a part of a small little group of investors that compare notes between each other. Whatever you're going to do, you're going to do. So that's my recommendation for you. And if every month you're saving $10 or $20 and you're adding it to your portfolio, and you've got 5 positions, you got $10, you buy $2 worth of this one, $2 more of that one, $2 more of that one, and just every month $10 goes in, and you're just building your portfolio with a larger amount in each of the 5. And from time to time, you might drop one of those and pick up another and go from there. You might want to follow 10 companies. You might want to follow 20 companies. I don't know. You might follow 50 companies, but only invest in 5. There's that too. You're going to run your little miniature hedge fund with very few fees. If you set up the right account through these right agencies, you've got to go online with mom and dad, I hope, with an elder, with someone who's of age, to help you determine which of these platforms you want to use that will cost you the least amount of money, if at all. And you don't want to get nailed with minimum maintenance fees and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you are doing your homework from that as well. And there you go. Now, once you're a client of one of these entities, they will offer you all kinds of services for free that you can utilize. It might be all kinds of earnings reports you have access to. You might get access to SEC filing reports, all kinds of stuff. Check them out. Find out which of these platforms are best for you to learn more about the market going forward. And there you go. How about that? Did that help? Did I do that all right, you guys? Did I help our friend here? I didn't want to leave him hanging. Thank you for not letting me leave him hanging. I appreciate that. Hopefully it works out. James, all the best to you. Good luck to you, buddy. Thank you for being a viewer of this show. If you watch me on rerun or live, it's great. Jacques, are there any notable trading strategies to look into for someone just starting? I just talked about that. You can take what I just said and multiply that by thousands of dollars. Eric, which markets will benefit most from the new 1.2 trillion stimulus plan? Yeah, that money will go out from the U.S. government and will go into people's hands, and then they will spend it, won't they? And it might even be money that is pre-spent already out there. Yes. We're going to have to see just what happens. I mean, Thank you. I'm just reading comments here. I'm talking to you. I'm reading these comments. People are happy with my comment for James. Ready to go, James. Thanks, buddy. Thanks for being here, man. I appreciate it, and I hope you do well. I hope you love it. I got involved in the markets. I started watching the markets at the age of about 13, and it was all my dad's fault. He gave me a book one day. He never gave me books. My dad would never give me a book to read, but he came up to me one day and he said, I got something for you. I want to talk to you about something. I thought, well, what did I do? What did I do wrong? I mowed the grass. I took out the garbage. What did I do? He said, no, I want to show you something. Oh, okay. He hands me this book. It's a paperback. It's called The Canadian Establishment, written in 1970. I forgot, 70, 71, 72. And he hands me this book. He says, whenever you can, and whenever you want, I would really recommend you read this book. And if you can't understand something, I'll help you figure it out. But I think, and my dad said, I think you might like this. And I'm going, The Canadian Establishment? What is that? What is that? It certainly had nothing to do with Batman, Robin, or naked women. There were no pictures in this book. What's this? So I said, oh, okay, Dad, thanks. And he talked to me. He always talked to me like I was an adult. As long as I acted like an adult, he talked to me like an adult, which I very much appreciated. I passed that on with my daughter. And he said, let me know what you think, if you like it. So he owned a music store back in the day in 1965 until 70, 78, 80, 1986 or something like that. And I worked in the music store from when I was a kid, off and on. When I was a child, I was about 10, 11 years old. And then up until I was 21, I worked for the store, in the store, until I was 22, really, practically. Inside a retail store, which we were on King Street in Kitchener, Ontario. So there were hours where no one would walk in. I mean, we were just people just walking by. And then there were, crazy times where there'd be 15 people in the store for an hour, and then there'd be nobody for an hour. So I'd have time to pick up this book from time to time, sitting at the front of the store, just reading a half a chapter. Someone come in, I put the book down, service their needs, and then pick up the book an hour later and figure out where I was and continue reading it. What I found at age 13, 14 was I couldn't put this thing down. Shockingly, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I was enjoying reading a book. I really enjoyed it. This book was phenomenal. It explained to the reader the makeup of Canada's elite at that point in time, but based on history. It kind of took you back 100 years in Canada's formation in 1867 and brought you forward to where are we at right now with Canada and the richest families in the country, the most powerful families from a financial point of view, the biggest corporations in Canada, the companies that make the most money, the big banks, and the interrelationship and all. I had no clue at 13 what my world was like. I was 13 years old, man. I looked at girls and went, oh my God, what do you do with those? And I wanted to roller skate and ride my bike and watch hockey games and just hang out at my dad's music store and try to figure out what the hell was going on. This book opened the world to me, changed my everything, and I started going, oh, I see what's going on here. Even my little old town of Kitchener, Ontario, I began to figure out, we have in this city, Kitchener and Waterloo, Twin Cities, Kitchener, Waterloo, Ontario, population 250,000 back then. We had factories there that made car parts, but they weren't called General Motors. They weren't called Ford. They weren't called Chrysler. But car frames were made at a place called Budd Automotive. And I thought, they don't make cars. No, they make car parts. And the car parts go to one of the big three manufacturers of automobiles, trucks, you name it. And I went, so the parts then go to the factory and then get assembled. So the car factory doesn't even make all the parts in the car factory. In Mr. Ford's day, Henry Ford, back in the early 1900s, all the parts for Ford were made in the Ford factory. It was magnificently gigantic, had all kinds of employees. But in the 70s already, there were parts firms that car companies would hire to make certain assemblies. And I had no idea. I go, oh, wow, that's interesting. Then I noticed, well, in Waterloo, Ontario, just a few blocks from my house, like within a mile, was this gigantic place for Seagram's distillery. Gigantic distillery for Seagram's. And once every couple of weeks, you could smell the fermentation in the air. They're making the rye, and they're making whatever they're making in there. And I thought, well, that's the head office of Seagram's right there. That's where all those people are that run that company. Oh no, Bruce, no. You're in a union town. I figured out you're in Unionville. That is one of many factories and breweries that Seagram's owns. Not the only one. They had way more. They weren't even based in. They were based in Montreal. I'm going, Montreal? That's in Quebec. And so all of a sudden, I looked around and went, oh my goodness, this world is complex, and yet it makes sense. I now figured out how it all fit together, and I just gobbled it up, and I started reading Fortune magazine and the business sections, and I started watching business shows, and I was just gobbling it up. I found it fascinating. And when I went to college in Toronto, which is the capital of Canada for business, like New York, I am blocks away from Bay Street, which is like Wall Street, for my college years. And in the evenings, after school would be over, in the fall, it would still be nice and warm, I would go to downtown Toronto and I'd walk around the financial area, and I go, okay, well, that's the Royal Bank of Canada's headquarters, 65-story building. And, oh, there's the skyscraper. That's Toronto-Dominion Bank. And there's Bank of Nova Scotia. There's the Bank of Montreal. And I'd figure out who's who in the zoo and realize this is where the head offices are for many companies in Canada. And where I live in Kitchener is where all the branch offices are and all the assembly places are and all the secondary businesses. And then I figured out the rest of it through everywhere else in Canada. And it was a very interesting learning experience. My dad was right. You might enjoy this book. And I followed it ever since. But I became a watchmaker first. My college career, I graduated George Brown College in Toronto fixing watches, wristwatches, and clocks. I took a 3-year course. I had no idea in high school what I was going to do with myself. I had no thought that I'd become a stockbroker. I had no concept of that. I just had the concept of I knew business and I'm beginning to figure out business, but I didn't know the market, the intricacies of the stock market yet. I just knew big business and branch offices and subsidiary companies, boards of directors, but the stock thing was another world, as I've been explaining to you. And so I began to slowly but surely look into that. But I finished my watchmaking degree, 3 years, loved it. Got my college papers, and I was immediately employable, repairing timepieces and whatnot. And then Jennifer and I, we got together and ended up here in Western Canada. And I became a broker in '79. I graduated college in '76, and by 1979, I was a stockbroker. And so I left behind the watchmaking career and took on this career, even though my college education had nothing to do with it. But I worked my way into the business, and I learned my way into the business. And even in the business, I wasn't the kind of guy that would sit behind the desk and go, I'm a stockbroker. I'm the king of the hill here. I'm Mr. Everything. Oh no, I realized I knew nothing. And that there were 55-year-old people around me who had been in the business for 25 years. And I thought, I've got to hang out with these guys. They've got stories. The kind of stories I'm telling you now, they had the stories, and I sucked in everything I could get that these guys wanted to give. Some guys weren't talkers. They don't want to get lost, you young punk. I'm not talking to you. Others were saying, oh, you want to know about the business? Well, why don't we go out for lunch today? And then we'd have, he would go for a smoke break, and I would go up the broker. And I'm not a smoker, but he's smoking. I'm talking. I'm just, talk to me. I'm listening. Give. And I absorbed from everywhere I could get the information I needed to become more streetwise as how the markets were working in 1979 and 80, just as a young guy. And that's how it worked for me. Jared loved the stories, Uncle Bruce. Thank you, Jared, for these donations. It was amazing. It was amazing what you learned from the elders. Because I figured that out in my dad's music store. I would, as a 12-year-old kid, my job was clean the glass for all the counters, because the customer would come in and lean on the glass and look at something and touch with their fingers, and I'd have to get the Windex and clean the glass when the customers left. My job was to vacuum the carpeting, dust the guitars, tune the guitars. That was my favorite part. Tune the basses, and keep the dust off all the merchandise and keep it looking pristine, because after all, everything in that store is brand new. And then sell when necessary, but let Dad do the selling, let the manager that Dad had and any employees. I was the low guy. My reward when I was first there as a 10-year-old was every Saturday, my dad and I would go to the store. He would do the books, and my reward after I did all the chores was whatever empties, the glass pop bottles, all the empties that would be piled up on the floor of the bathroom, those are mine. I had those. All that money that I could get for those, that was my money. That was my allowance. And my dad, I found out later, he would say to the manager, hey, look, do me a favor. You're drinking cola, and you go and get a cola. Don't take the empties back. Don't leave them for the kid. He's coming with me every Saturday, and we'll work him to death to clean out the store, so you don't have to dust the guitars, and you don't have to do all the vacuuming, on Saturdays. He'll do that, but leave the empties for the kid. All right. So the music teachers that were teaching and even customers that were coming in would have a cola with the manager, and the manager says, give me the empty because it's for the owner's kid. He comes in every Saturday. And so these guys would come into the store with a half empty bottle of pop, and they would finish it and they would give it to the manager and say, that's for the kid. It's for Bruce. And so every Saturday I'd come in and there'd be 15 bottles, 20 bottles, 30 bottles. I was rich. 2 cents a bottle, 2 cents you'd get per empty. I would take back 20 empties. I get 40 cents. In 1966, you know how much 40 cents was? It was a fortune. And the quarters were made of silver. You flick them in the air and they go ting. That was real silver. Oh yeah, it was real money, baby. So I would get 40 cents and spend about 10 on a O. Henry chocolate bar and my own cola, which I would finish and take the empty back for the 2 cents. And then at the end of the day, my dad and I would go back home and I would add my money to my stash. And I was saving up like $50 a year in 1966, 67. I could really save money back then. I had no rent, no overhead, clothing provided. It was great. The magic fridge, always full of food. It was incredible. And it was the good food, the kind that Dad liked. Dad liked good stuff. Yeah, I love that. No magic fridge anymore. Well, I ended up stocking a magic fridge for my daughter as years went on. In any event, my background was retail. And in retail, in the store, my job was to shut the hell up and not say anything. You sit there and listen to people. You don't talk. You don't interfere. Unless we ask you specifically a question, you keep the hell quiet or you're never coming back in here. So I would just sit there and watch and learn. And I would hear, guys with 2 foot long hairdos talking to my dad about the music business, the rock and roll wannabe and the 35, 38, 40-year-old guy. They would come to my dad, and I figured out, oh my God, there's all these 17-year-old, 16-year-old, 20-year-old, 22-year-old guys who want to talk to my dad. And they don't want to talk to me. I'm just a punk. They don't even want to talk to the manager who's 24 years old, knows everything about the guitars, everything. They don't want to talk to him. They want to talk to the guy with the gray hair because that guy would listen to them. And they would have a conversation adult to adult. And as I grew up, it wasn't at that moment. I figured out later, they were talking to a father. They didn't have one. Whatever father they had, they couldn't talk to that guy. That father looked at their son with the long hair and, I don't talk to you. There were a lot of problems in the 60s, the Vietnam War and everything. I'm just a kid. I'm just coming into the picture going, where am I in this world? And I'm watching and I'm now remembering, oh my God, all these guys came to my father for fatherly advice. And when he said it, when my dad would tell him, well, you have a couple of options, you could do this, this, or this. What do you think you should do? And they would go, gosh, my dad doesn't do that with me. He just tells me what the hell to do because that's what he thinks. They don't discuss. It's like, you do this or get out of my house. And it was really interesting. And so I learned so much about the world and interaction of people and the handling of personalities and everything else. It really was an education that you couldn't buy that education. So by the time I was 24, 25, and I entered the brokerage market as a rookie broker, as a rookie salesman, I knew my place. Shut the hell up, listen to the manager, listen to the senior brokers, and only speak when asked to speak, because you don't know jack squat. You know nothing, Bruce. And so just take it in, be a sponge, and learn all over again, just like in the music store. By the time I was 18 years old in my dad's music store, I could run the music store because I knew everything: how to buy, how to inventory, how to handle clients, how to handle the mailman, handle registered mail, how to do a sale, how to phone the Visa company, the ChargeX company for the authorization when it was over $25. I knew everything. And I ran my dad's store one summer when I was 20 because the manager went on holidays. My dad was on the road, and I ran the store for a month on my own. And it was easy. It was easy because I've been doing it for 10 years. I've been there for 10 years. But in the brokerage side, I sat there and I took in all this knowledge, and I seeked more. If they were willing to talk, I was willing to ask for more, and they appreciated that, and I didn't forget it. And that's how I learned how the business worked. And by the time I reached age 20, 4 years later, by 82, 83, 84, I was a partner of a brokerage company, and I had to take additional securities courses because I was management now. I was management, and I had the authorization to authorize accounts. So when a broker in our brokerage firm would open an account, they would bring the application to me. I had to sign it to accept the client's account. The broker, I'm a partner in the firm. He's a partner, but he's not licensed like I am. The guy's 40 years old, and he's coming to me. I'm 25, and I'm authorizing the opening of these accounts to make sure the form is filled in correctly. Due diligence. I'm doing due diligence at 25 and 26. Then I became branch manager of a larger company, and then a VP, and more exams were required and all the licensing you needed. And I had brokers working for me that were 50 and 55 and 45 with children and mortgages and car payments. And I held their lives in my hand, and I had to make sure they didn't screw up with, the wrong kind of trading or the wrong kind of blow up of an account. I mean, I had to keep guys out of jail. I had to do it all. I would meet their wives at the Christmas party or at a summer event of some kind. We had the Stampede in Calgary, so we'd have a Stampede get together. I would meet their wives, and they would come up to me and go, "So you're my husband's boss?" And I would be looking at the gentleman and the wife, and I'd be going, "My God, the responsibility I have is unbelievable," because this guy has 300 accounts that range in value from $5,000 to $150,000 account. We're talking millions of dollars that are being managed by the firm, and I'm the guy in charge of this stuff at age 26, 27, 28. But like I say, I did it the way I did it. I didn't go to university for a business degree. I was never going to get into a university for a business degree because I didn't have the grades in high school. Didn't have them. But I'll tell you, it was really interesting how it went. It was humbling, and it was there were guys in my employ that you thought would do well but didn't, and others who gave them a chance and they excelled. You didn't really always know. Sometimes you had guys who did well for 5 years and then they just blew apart. I had to fire people. I had to let people go. It's a tough go. You want to be manager? You better be able to handle it all. And this is where I come back to discipline in the markets. I keep talking about this. You guys out there, you're following me and you're watching GameStop right now and you're going through the grinder. If you are putting money into GameStop, you shouldn't have been putting in at $250 a share. You're asking yourself, why did I do that? And I'm telling you all along, you only put cash in you can afford to risk, cash you don't need for day-to-day, month-to-month expenses, and you just ride this wave out. if you like the corporate story, you write it out. Why did you get into it in the first place? But if you got into it to make 1,000% profit, you are in the market for the wrong reason. You belong at the racetrack. You belong in Las Vegas. You don't belong in the stock market. But we're everywhere, and we're stuck at home. And so we're doing what we're doing the way it is. Welcome to the world as it is. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and so there you have it. But I tell you, you've got to be level-headed in this business to survive it. You've got to be able to tolerate a 500-point Dow drop. You've got to be able to take a 10% stock drop and then a 3-day slow recovery and another 10% drop. You've got to take the punishment. You've got to take everything, and you've got to just allow it to just like water off a duck's back. You've got to just be able to handle it and stay on top of your emotions and be level-headed. If you're doing that, you're cut out for the investor business. But as an investor, as I say, I had clients that I was always babysitting because I knew my clients. The rule in the stock market business as a stockbroker, it's called the Know Your Client rule. Know your client rule. And I had to know what kind of tolerance they could take. I got to know during bad weeks what kind of an individual I had. Sometimes you learn about a friend of yours or a coworker of yours when you go on a Friday night. You go out and you get plastered at the pizza place. And after about 4 drinks, the real personality comes out, and you realize, I love this guy. This is a buddy all the way. Or, oh, I don't like this person. But as a stockbroker, you learn your customer from good markets, bad markets, good times, bad times, whatever it is. You have to learn how to read people and understand what turns them on, turns them off, excites them, depresses them. Otherwise, you're not going to be a good salesman, not going to be a good broker at all. Because what you are is an asset manager for human beings. You're not an asset manager for machines. You're an asset manager for a human being that might be married, might have 3 kids, might have an ex-wife with 2 children over there and is married over here with 3 children over here. You got to figure out what this person is doing. And some clients don't want to share. They just want to open an account and don't want to tell you anything. And then you can't read them very well. And you have to sit them down privately, one-on-one. You got to say, look, Mr. Jones, you're asking me to take care of this, one of the top 5 most precious things you've got. You've got your life and your kids and your wife and her relative and your money. And you're asking me to take care of your money. I'm kind of important to you. And you got to help me help you. If you don't, I might make a mistake that you will be mad at me about. And that's not good. We've got to be I got to be upfront with you, buddy. I'm your asset manager, and if we're going to work together, we got to be straight with each other. You know where I am. I'm here in the office. I don't know you. I got to know what's going on. And so, if I couldn't get a customer to want to be open with me, I'd have to let him go to somebody else. I'd say, look, I can't be your broker. I can't be your advisor because I'm terrified making a recommendation to you. I have no idea what you want. That's not how this works. And you would build long-term relationships. I had clients as a stockbroker. When I became a broker at age 24, I had customers that I had in my first year of being a stockbroker that were still customers of mine 10 years later, 9 years later, through 4 different companies. They would follow me. They would never stay behind. They went with me. I had customers that I would go to another firm, for example, and there would be clients that want to come with me, but they wouldn't. And that's when you realized, they're actually not as big a fan as you thought they were, or not. They're not interested in you, or they're easily stealable. But I had customers that I couldn't get rid of. They tracked me down. Oh, you're over here. I want to open an account with you, man. I love you. But I had my core followers over the years, my core clients that I knew if I was going to move from this firm to this firm, I had my 50 core guys. That was my book. That was my book. And I knew that when the minute I left firm A and went to firm B, the manager at firm A would hand out all my accounts to his guys that were left behind. And those guys would call these customers and say, yeah, well, Bruce left the company and I wanted to introduce myself to you. I'm Joe Schmuck. I'm your new broker. And I knew that the chances were 99.9% that the customer would go, thank you for your call. I really appreciate it. Mail me your card and I'll let you know what's going on. And then within 3 days, the letter would come in to the former brokerage firm saying, I'm transferring my account to company so-and-so, because that's where Bruce is now. And these salesmen, they knew we're not going to get his 50 best customers. They're going with him, just like their 50 best would go with them. If they were any good, they had their core as well. You couldn't shake loose a client from another broker if the broker really took care of them. But that's the business. And over years, you figure out where it is you want to be as a broker, what firm you want to be with and not. And eventually I became a branch manager and a VP, and I was still a stockbroker. I still had clients. Even though I was management now, I still had my core guys because they didn't want anyone else. And over the years, I would slowly convince one of my guys, you really want to deal with this guy. He's a real good friend of mine in personal life, and he is working this market. You know, he lives the stock market 24/7 like I do, but he can handle you 24/7 where I can't. I have to watch 25 guys now and 20 support staff, and I've got head office breathing down my neck, and I can't give you the time you deserve as a customer. But this guy is great. If you don't like him, if he treats you badly, you can always call me. And so slowly but surely, I let go clients to my boys, my boys and girls, to be taken care of. And I would tell them, I have an account for you. Let me give you the history of this guy. I started with him when I was 24 years old. I was just a brand new broker, and he knew I didn't know what I was talking about. The customer knew more than I knew, but they gave this new broker a chance. Here's $5,000. Let's see what you can do for me. And then over the years, they realized that the other two brokers they had, the other three brokers they had were schmucks. And I started getting these transfers in, and sooner or later, I was the only broker this guy had, because I was the guy that cared and really was passionate about what I was doing in my career. And I'm giving this customer to you now. Don't screw it up, because you screw it up, he's gone. You lose him, and you don't want to lose this guy. This is a client, and there are contacts here. He has friends and relatives. This is a mine. This is a gold mine for you with many veins of potential. You can get his retirement account. You can get his family's accounts. You can get his in-laws' accounts. Go to work. And so, of course, if I trained my brokers properly, there would not be a problem. And that's what I had to do as well. I had to train the new guys to be full-blown salespeople. And this was the job that, as a branch manager, I had. I would hire. I had a problem. The firm I was with, I couldn't steal top guys from other houses. Couldn't do it. They're impossible to steal. So you had to build your own sales force. And so I had to hire people that were taking the securities course that might make it as a salesman. And I had to make the judgment call. Every year I'm hiring 3 or 4 new bodies, 4 or 5. And now I had to train them all year long to guide them along. And then those who are now here for the 2nd year and the 3rd year, I had to train them along and train them along. And you were gambling, you were throwing the dice going, is this guy or girl going to make it? We're going to find out. I'm going to take a chance on this one and this one and this one. And you were hoping that everyone you brought in would work out, and you would be there for them, and you would try to be their mentor. If they were willing to let you be their mentor, they had a chance. But if they, after getting the job, they thought they were on top of the world and they were king crap, some only lasted 3 months and you had to let them go. Just saying, it's not working out. It's just not working out. I'm sorry. Because what they were really doing is they were seduced one night in a bar downtown, and they met a promoter, and a stock promoter saw fresh meat, brand new stockbroker, and they would sweet talk him and take him out for drinks, and then they'd open an account with him and give him some business, and then they would meet for lunch, and they would meet after work at another bar away from my eyes, and the broker would become converted over to the promoter's book. And the promoter was hired by very junior companies that had very, very little cash flow and very little prospects, but they had a public shell and they were just trying to pump their stock and find saps to buy the stuff, pump and dumps. These guys became victims of potential pump and dumps, and they wouldn't listen to Uncle Bruce about, well, this is how you build your book. It's a slow and steady process, and it's called work. You work to build a book. You work to build relationships, and you work to build assets and a decent account. But these guys took the shortcuts. They thought, well, I'll just get involved with 50,000 shares of this 10-cent stock or 50-cent stock, run it to $5, and we'll make all kinds of money, and I'll make all kinds of commissions. This is going to be great. And I'll be way ahead of all the brokers in this office. And they didn't last long in my firm. We kind of let them go. We didn't want that kind of business in our house. Even though we were a smaller brokerage firm, we couldn't attract the big clients. So we just didn't have that international reputation. But that's okay. We found our niche, and we were after personal service, and we built it out. But it was an interesting career. So for you young guys, for you new traders out there, you've got to give yourself some time to figure out what the hey is happening out there and where is it this fits in. I will recommend certain stocks. I'll mention them. I'll follow certain companies and bring out more from time to time. I'll find a new story that I like. I'll mention it to you, and I'll try to explain to all of you just what's happening and what's going on and why you want to consider staying away from certain companies and consider getting into others. But believe me, there are every public company out there that's listed, every one of them, and many over-the-counter companies for sure. They hire people to get you to buy their stock, and they're influencers, they're investor relations professionals, they're stock promoters, they're pump and dump specialists for the small out and out really tiny outfits, and you want to avoid certain kinds of promotion and welcome certain kinds of exposure, and you've got to do your own due diligence. You've got to figure out whether whatever I'm talking about fits your interests or not, or not. And as time goes by, hopefully, the more you hang around with Uncle Bruce, you'll get that much wiser and that much more comfortable with this crazy stock market. And it could well be that if we're around long enough together, you may find that the day comes that the market takes a real drop, and you'll follow me through it, and you will then eventually say, that guy, he warned us about this sort of stuff, but he's been through a bunch of these, and now we're all getting through whatever is happening out there, whether it's a terrorist event that creates a bad market, whether it's a cataclysmic failure of a country's finances, or whether it's a recession that's brought on by whatever. Who knows? There's all kinds of reasons why markets gyrate badly and well and not so well and back and forth. You gotta just let it happen. It's life. It's just life. That's all it is. Anyway, there you go, guys. Did you enjoy that? I enjoyed talking to you about it. Thank you, all of you who've been making PayPal donations. I've been getting these. I don't mention them often enough, but I want to thank you, those of you making PayPal donations. I just see here one from Ethel, and I see one here from David, and another one from Dave Newbold and Dave Casper. Thank you for these donations that you're making to my accounts. Those PayPal donations are like real great gratuities. They're fantastic gratuities because 96% of whatever it is that you're sending me ends up in my hands almost immediately. Where super chats, which I dearly love, these super chats, I love them, but I get a smaller percentage of the money. YouTube gets a percentage. I get a smaller percentage, and I only get paid once a month from YouTube for all of my efforts. And so it's nice to know that this is coming. It's great. I love it. But PayPal is instantaneous, and it's much higher in the percentage coming to my pocket. But again, thank you, all of you. Stock markets of the British. I bought VGAC at $14, my first SPAC. I read some people sell before a merger. What is your idea? Wait till after, well after. If you play it right, just sit on this stock for like 6 months now. Just 6 months. Let the merger happen. Let the merger go through. You'll then be a shareholder of of 23andMe and let the new company start talking. Let them start talking, because they're going to do all kinds of stuff. There's going to be all kinds of deals in the works for this new company. And I think you're going to be well rewarded for your involvement as a shareholder. I think you should do that. But that's just me. Look, if you see a flip, you can get in 15 and out of 24 and you're happy, you're happy. What's wrong with that? You're happy, you're happy. But I think you can do really well if you stick around for the show, because right now we're in the previews. You remember you used to go to a movie theater, you saw cartoons, if you're old enough? If you're really old enough, you went to the drive-in with your parents and you used to see cartoons. That's what we're watching right now with this company, with this Virgin Group acquisition company, this VGAC. We're only watching cartoons on the theater screen. Wait till the double feature. Yeah, we're going to have some fun with that. Came for the stock state for the stories. You're a cool cat, Bruce. Thank you. Enzik, thank you very much for this donation. All of you have been making donations to me. Cannot thank you guys enough. So thank you. So thankful for all of it. Okay. I think I'm going to get ready to shut this down. The GameStop is up 60 to 64.90 now. Up $1.13 in the aftermarket. That's a good sign. That's a good sign. The blowouts are over. The sellouts, the under margin, all that's gone. It's all gone. People buying this stock are probably pretty well buying it on margin. Or I'm sorry, I'm buying it with cash. Some margin maybe, but lots of cash buying here, and that is good for the stability of the price of the stock. But don't take it to the bank that it won't go down or up. It will fluctuate. It will do this. That's what all stocks do. This one has still got volatility, but today was very calm after the opening. Once it kind of hit that 95 and then, was in that 65 range, 60, 65, it's been pretty steady. But it did climb a little at the end, and it's holding its own in the aftermarket. Let's see what happens Monday morning in the pre-market. I will be live 1 hour before the opening on Monday, and we'll follow what's going on and see how the morning treats us and how the markets treat us when we open. And over the weekend, don't be surprised if a video or two pop up on this channel, and hopefully you'll enjoy them. And if you give them thumbs ups, thank you. Brandon, thank you for this donation, buddy. Appreciate it. On the channel right now, our subscriber count going into Friday night, 49,540 subscribers. We are 460 away from hitting 50,000 subscribers. So those of you out there who have subscribed, thank you and welcome to the family. And let's hope we do well out there. I hope all of you get rich, and learning something every day. Fantastic. You enjoy my little stories. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. We'll follow all the news and all the developments, and we'll keep you posted. Have a great weekend, everybody. And thank you, Danielle, for your kind words. Cade Summers, you, in your professional experience, is this GameStop normal for the market or foul play involved? I don't think it's foul play involved. I don't think so. There's frustration involved. Frustration galore when people couldn't buy stock from the brokerage firms. What that showed how undercapitalized some of these guys were. But no foul play. Nah, I don't think so. Thank you, everybody. Have a great weekend. Stay hydrated. I will be hydrating now with my caffeine-free. Jen and I'm not sure, but Jen and I might go out for a car ride right now. Day today, and it's been a beautiful time. Great week. I've enjoyed the week very much, and I've enjoyed your company, and I've enjoyed your comments, and we will continue to keep working. Thank you for picking up items on Redbubble. You guys are just blowing me away. Let me know when you get your mugs. Are you happy with the mugs? Because we made these Game Stomp with Uncle Brucey mugs, and I made these right here, these Stock Markets with Bruce mugs. We're working on more stuff. We're working on more logos and more designs. It's going to happen, but I have been kind of busy in front of the camera here with you because it's been kind of a busy week, to say the least. So anyway, there you have it. I'm going to say my goodbyes now and wish you all the best. Keep an eye on this channel. I'm going to go live in 2 hours on Stock Markets with Bruce with my sponsor members. And that'll be it for my live presentations for this week. But keep an eye on the channels. You might see some videos pop up on both channels as I continually work my YouTube business to try to keep the channels going and draw ad revenues and draw earnings from YouTube as well, and grow the subscriber counts and go from there. All right, in the meantime, stay warm, stay safe, stay healthy, wear those masks, get your vaccine shots as soon as you can, as soon as you're allowed to. Do what the health professionals tell you. They're trying to save your life. And stay healthy for me so that I can see you again on Monday and all next week. Thank you, everybody, for all your support. And I wish you the best of everything. And you guys take care out there. And we'll talk to you real soon. Thank you once again from Creston, British Columbia, Stock Markets with Bruce. Bye for now.